It's time for our Talk of the Town today here on AM 1390 KRFO. And joining us today we have Deb Gillard along with Marianne Higgins. Now we're going to talk about the Senior Expo, which is no longer the Senior Expo, which used to be at the Four Seasons, but a different location, and the Earn Committee is in charge of it. That's changed too. So I just want to say we're kind of talking about the same thing, but a lot of stuff has changed. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, it's just a normal day. But, okay, let's start with what was the Earn Committee. Take us maybe from the Earn Committee to what we are today.
Yes, we are a new entity called Senior Alliance of Steele County, and we are a group of businesses, organizations, and agencies involved with care of people age 50 and older.
Okay, and we're still out of habit. We're going to probably talk about, say the word Senior Expo, but it has a new name, this event, which is coming up when, and to talk a little bit about that.
The event is called Engaged for Life, and with our mission for Senior Alliance of Steele County, we are assisting individuals in our vision statement 55 and over, and so we actually geared our event around age 50 and better, to try to get at not just the seniors in our community, but all of those of us who are maybe younger than what we would call seniors, but I guess that technically a lot of people are seniors at age 50, I guess, but to try to involve all those family members, friends, caregivers, all of the people that are involved all the way up from 50 and into our older senior citizens. So it's a little more fun, a little more exciting, changed the venue. One of the big reasons we changed the venue, it has been, as your listeners will know, at the Four Seasons. It was a great place to have it. One of our biggest challenges, though, is we've tried to have a speaker, and getting the acoustics to match up with our speaker, even using those the band shells, was a very difficult situation. So with the name change and with a little bit different focus, we decided then to look to see if we could find a venue that would be a little more accommodating to what we're continually trying to accomplish. And so we are at Trinity Church in Owatonna.
Okay, and that has been a big remodeling job there and stuff like that. What about the dates, times?
It's on May 6th, and it'll be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this year, something different, our vendor booths will be open that entire time, even when we have our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is slated to begin at 12 o'clock noon.
Okay. A lot of folks have been in the Four Seasons. A number of people have never been inside Trinity, especially since the remodel job. So can you talk a little bit about what that is like as far as,
It's
logistics?
wonderful.
It's absolutely beautiful. They have a wonderful area for a majority of our vendor booths. They have a wonderful narthex where we will be spreading out into some of our vendor areas. That's where we'll be having our complimentary food from Hy-Vee. We will also be able to be going upstairs where we'll be having an area for demonstrations and for health-related screenings.
Okay. And again, that's coming up May 6th from 9 to 1. It used to be the Senior X. I'm just using that because I'm sure people still have that in their head. It's Engaged for Life. You got to tailor for those 50 and older. Is there still a good reason for someone who's 35 with maybe a 75-year-old parent that would want to fill out?
Absolutely, absolutely. What we know, both Marianne and I, and many of our Senior Alliance committee members know that we have many different ages involved in the lives of our seniors and families, and I can't tell you the number of times I've worked with a niece or a nephew or a grandchild who is very active, perhaps in their grandparents' life, and trying to get them information and assistance that they need and all those kinds of things. So there are things for everyone. We've got our vendors span everything from care communities and home health care and things that you might normally expect at a senior expo, to books and
Land to Air Express
and transportation and all sorts of great things that they can come and see and get information on. We're particularly excited too, and we want to get into our speaker a little bit as well, so we'll talk about Jennifer in a minute, but our demonstrations is not something that we've done before. We have a great room in the Trinity venue to do that upstairs, so we're offering specific demonstrations for some of our participants that have chosen to do them. One of them is called Big and Loud. It's a specialized therapy program for Parkinson's, those folks that have Parkinson's, and that is being put on by the Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute. So they'll be showing a little bit about what their program is about for someone who has or someone's loved one who has Parkinson's, and they'll be demonstrating that and telling about their program. Dietitian Tracy Bierke joins us from Hy-Vee. She'll be talking about cooking for one or two as we empty nesters have less at home, and certainly as we grow older, a lot of times we are just cooking for two of us or one of us, and she's going to have some great tips and recipes. Footwear for diabetics. Sterling Pharmacy Department is going to be there demonstrating what is proper footwear if you're diabetic, what's going to keep you supported and not constrict blood flow, things like that. So they'll be talking about reasons that you choose the footwear that you do for diabetics. And then assistive walking devices, Owatonna Physical Therapy will be talking about that. All the various types of walkers that we all see, and canes, and different things that help us keep our mobility as we age, and they'll be talking about the proper way to use those. So we're very excited about that, and we'll be directing our participants and our attendees up to that demonstration area throughout the morning.
Are there set times for those demonstrations, or how can someone find out if they may be just interested in the footwear part, what time to show up?
There will be. We are still just now finishing all of our vendors. So as we speak today, we're making sure that we have all of our vendors and all of our demonstrations, and so we don't have the exact times, but we will as it gets a little bit closer. And Lauren, maybe we can even get you a press release or something that says, hey, if you're going to Engage for Life, we now have the times down. So here within the next 2 weeks, we'll do that for you, so that, yes, if somebody has a particular one that they want to plan around, that they can do that.
Okay. Jennifer West is your keynote speaker. Who's going to tell us something about who is Jennifer? What's she going to talk about?
Well, Jennifer is from Family Means, which is an agency up in the Twin Cities. She will be talking about the information that is important to share with your family, how you approach these sensitive topics, and then she's going to be talking about how to initiate those conversations about death and funerals and healthcare directives and some of those sensitive topics that are hard to bring up, and what information you do need to make some plans and to do things the way your loved one would like them to be done.
Okay, and she'll be there at noon. Go ahead.
Yep, and I was just going to say there again too, that spans the ages, because even though we might think of that as something for someone who's quite a bit older and more specifically nearing the end of life, you cannot start early enough with some of those living wills, powers of attorney, advanced care directives, so that if anything should happen at any of our ages, we're prepared to have someone step in and be our voice if need be, and to make sure that our wishes are being communicated. So even as some of us are in the process of helping our older loved ones, be they family or friend, to get some of those things done, it's also very appropriate for us to be looking at it and saying, what do we want our family to know? What do I want my children to know, my spouse to know? Have we had this conversation? And I think people are getting better and better about having these kinds of conversations and being realistic. But Jennifer is going to be there to tell us how best to start those conversations if someone is a little bit reluctant, really matter-of-factly how to get at some of that information and do the best job that we can for ourselves.
You usually have, like I think you mentioned, screenings again this year. Blood pressure. What else? Do you know offhand or not?
Well, we've got lots of different health-related screenings. We're going to be having chair massages. We're going to be having
strength and balance, I think.
Strength and balance, brown bag. Drug reviews from different pharmacies. That sounds kind of odd. That didn't come out quite right. People can bring in their medications, and the different pharmacists here in town can take a look at those and tell them if something interacts with one another, and they can help them review those in a
It always sounds funny. We were just asked that the other day. Well, what is with the brown bag? And I guess the only thing is that if people want to keep their medications private and come in with it in some sort of container that doesn't show it to everybody, it doesn't matter if they bring them in a Ziploc bag or whatever. The point is the pharmacists are going to be there to take a look at that and to help advise on any interactions and just take a look at that for someone. So typically in the pharmacy world, it's called a brown bag review, but it does sound kind of funny when you're talking about it and you don't know what that means. But we encourage anybody to do that as well. So some of those areas and things that might be more of a consultative nature or screening where you'd like a little bit of privacy and more time to really, and not be in a huge exhibit area to talk about those things, those are the kind of things that will be in our screening area.
And quite honestly, we can add that to your list of demonstrations too, because we can totally know for sure after today who our screenings are going to be, what those screenings are, because today is our last day of registration. So we're kind of evolving still.
We can put it on our website soon.
So we appreciate that very much.
We're talking about Engage for Life, and we used to call it the Senior Expo, and it's going to be the new location this year, Trinity Lutheran in Owatonna. Wednesday, May 6th, it's 9 to 1. I suppose the important thing is it's free to go.
It's free.
It is absolutely free to not to vendors, sorry, they're paying a little bit, but to our attendees. Free parking too, and obviously with Trinity's expansion, they have expanded their parking, so there's plenty of room for people to come and go. And it's going to be a great event this year. Because it's new, we'll have lots of us committee members around to help direct to the screenings, to the demonstrations throughout the area. And so we're just really looking forward to super attendance this year and welcoming all our attendees.
And Hy-Vee has been a wonderful sponsor for us. They are going to be providing our light refreshments. They're going to be providing door prizes, decorating our area for us. And Matt May has been a wonderful sponsor.
Yep, he's the manager.
I was going to say, how about someday, boom, here comes Mary Ann. She has it timed out like that. About how many vendors do you expect this year offhand?
Right now, as of this moment, I have got 51 vendors. So I'm hoping that by the end of the day, we should be pretty close to 55.
Okay. And that's been pretty standard. I mean, we tend to get a really good showing of all those variety of areas that we were talking about before. And that really hasn't changed. Sometimes the vendors will change a little bit. New ones come in. Other ones might go away. Maybe a business is no longer in business or serving this area. But we seem to stick pretty close at that. So it's a really nice wide variety of vendors, and yet a lot of plenty of time to look around and visit with people too.
Okay. Anything else you ladies would like to add or we did miss or want to reiterate about?
Come and get engaged for life with us.
That's exactly right. And we are so hopeful that the community will love our new venue.
Yep.
Okay. Wednesday, May 6th at the Trinity Lutheran Church in Owatonna, the Engage for Life, or maybe you remember it as the Senior Expo. That's our Talk of the Town for today here on AM 1390.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. All right.